20 minutes. That is how long the bag sat on the back seat. Long enough to get milk, bread, and whatever else was on the list, and be back at the car before the ice cream started to soften. 20 minutes is also long enough to break a window, take a bag, and open a laptop. And here is the part nobody tells you. The laptop was the cheapest thing that was stolen that night, a few $100s and a hassle. What actually left in that bag was a bank account, a retirement account, and a credit card, and not one of those was in the bag. I'm Brent Gifford, and this is the Digital Safety Playbook. 30 years defending banks written in plain English for everybody else. Today, the 5 settings that decide whether a stolen device is an inconvenience or a nightmare, and why that difference has almost nothing to do with the device itself. One note before we start. David is a composite, a fictional name and scenario built from real device theft cases I have watched play out again and again. The details are invented. The pattern is painfully real. David is 61 and he is careful in all the ordinary ways. He locks his doors. He does not click strange links. He is the kind of man who checks the stove twice before leaving the house. On a Thursday evening, he stopped for groceries. His work bag was on the back seat, laptop inside, the way it had been 1,000 times before. He was in the store for 20 minutes. When he came back, there was glass on the pavement and the bag was gone. He stood there for a second doing the math everybody does, a few $100s. A call to the insurance company, an annoying week. He was frustrated, but he was not frightened. There was no reason yet to be frightened. By the time he got home, someone had already opened it. There was no password prompt that mattered. The screen woke straight to his desktop because he had set it to never lock. The way most of us do, because typing a password 40 times a day is irritating and nothing bad has ever happened. His browser had helpfully saved every password he had ever typed. So his email opened in one click. And from his email, the person holding that laptop did not need to hack anything. They clicked forgot password on his bank. The reset link arrived in the inbox they were already sitting in. They logged in and they moved money. Then they did it again on his retirement account, then on the credit card he used for everything. David spent the next 2 weeks on the phone, not because his laptop was gone, because the person who took it walked straight through an unlocked door into his entire financial life. Here is the part that is easy to miss, and I want to say it plainly. David had not been hacked. There was no clever code, no phishing email, no sophisticated attack of any kind. A stranger picked up a device that was not locked and read his life off the screen. So here's the thing underneath David's Thursday. A stolen device is not a hardware problem. It is a key problem. If your phone or your laptop is locked down, losing it is an inconvenience. You buy a new one, you restore your files, you are annoyed for a week. If it is not locked down, losing it hands a stranger a master key to everything you have ever logged into because your device stays signed into your email and your email is the reset button for everything else. The difference between expensive inconvenience and financial nightmare comes down to a handful of settings. Most of them are free. Most of them are already built into the device sitting in your hand right now, switched off or set loosely, waiting for you to notice them. A quick word from the actual person behind this, Brent. If a story like today's ever left you feeling a little foolish, please hear me. You were never given the tools. I spent 3 decades inside the teams that defend billion-dollar companies, and the people who target them are now targeting you with the same playbook and far better odds. You are not behind. You are just unarmed, and that part is entirely fixable. Every week I hand you one more piece of the defense I used to build for the institutions. Subscribe, and you will not have to face it alone. All right, the fix. 5 steps, about 15 minutes end to end. I will walk you through all 5, and every one of them is written out in this week's post if you would rather follow along there. Step 1, turn on device encryption, about 3 minutes. Why it matters. Encryption scrambles everything stored on the device, so a thief cannot read your files even by pulling the drive out and connecting it to another computer. And that second part is the piece people miss. A locked screen stops someone from using your device. Encryption stops someone from taking it apart. Without it, the locked screen is a door in a house with no walls. How you do it? On Windows, open settings, then privacy and security, then device encryption that may be called BitLocker, and turn it on. On a Mac, open system settings, then privacy and security, then file vault, and turn it on. On a phone, encryption switches on automatically the moment you set a passcode. So on a phone, the real step is simply having one. Step 2, set a screen lock and a short auto lock, about 2 minutes. Why? A device that locks itself in 1 minute is useless to whoever picks it up. This is the setting that decides whether the thief is holding a computer or a paperweight. David's screen was set to never lock, and that single choice is the reason the rest of his week happened. I know why people turn it off. Typing a password every time you sit down is genuinely irritating. But think about what you are trading. 1 minute of inconvenience a day against the 20 minutes between a broken window and someone reading your email. How? Turn on a PIN, a password, or fingerprint, or face unlock, and set the screen to lock after 1 minute of inactivity. On a phone that is in display or lock screen settings. On a laptop, it is in the lock screen or screensaver settings. Step 3, turn on Find My Device, about 3 minutes. Why? It lets you see where the device is, lock it remotely, and post a message on the screen. From any other device or from a web browser at a friend's house, it converts a theft from something that happens to you into something you can act on. How? On iPhone, open settings, tap your name, then find my iPhone, and turn it on. On Android, open settings, then security, then find my device. On Windows, it is settings, then privacy and security, then find my device. Step 4, turn on remote wipe, about 2 minutes. Why? If the device is truly gone, you can erase everything on it from anywhere, leaving nothing to read. This is the setting that ends the story instead of extending it. David's 2 weeks on the phone were spent chasing consequences. Remote wipe would have prevented most of them from ever starting. How? It lives on the same Find My screen as step 3. Open it and confirm the erase option is there. If it is a work device, ask your IT department to confirm it is enabled. Do not assume. Step 5, verify your backup and actually test it, about 5 minutes. Why? Encryption and remote wipe protect your data from the thief. A backup protects it for you. Those are two different jobs, and this is the one people skip. Because here is the trap. If you have no backup, you will hesitate before wiping a stolen device. And hesitation is exactly what the person holding it needs. How? Turn on iCloud backup on iPhone, Google One, or the built-in backup on Android, or OneDrive, or an external drive on a laptop. Then open it once and confirm your photos and your files are actually in there. A backup you have never checked is a guess, not a safety net. So that is the 5. Encryption, so the drive is unreadable. A 1-minute auto lock, so the screen is dark before they reach the parking lot. Find My Device, so you can see it and lock it. Remote wipe, so you can erase it. And a verified backup, so erasing it costs you nothing. Now walk back through David's Thursday with those 5 in place. With encryption on, the stolen laptop is a scrambled brick, unreadable even taken apart. With a 1-minute auto lock, the screen is dark and locked before the thief has reached the end of the parking lot. With Find My Device, David locks and locates it from his phone while he is still standing in the driveway. With remote wipe, one tap erases every saved password from across town. And with a verified backup, the only thing he has genuinely lost is a piece of hardware and an afternoon. Same theft, same broken window, completely different 2 weeks. And if you do nothing, nothing happens until it does. That is the honest shape of this one. Most people go their whole lives without a device being stolen, which is exactly why the settings stay switched off. The cost of being wrong is not spread out evenly. It arrives all at once on a Thursday in a grocery store parking lot. This week's steps lock down the device in your hand. If you want the room by room version across your phone, your tablet, and your browser, that is the device bundle, and the link is in this week's post. If you would rather have the whole library, the all in bundle collects all 26 Digital Safety Playbook guides for $299.99, about 61% off buying them one at a time. Same place, and the link is in the post. And to be clear, the 5 steps you just heard stand completely on their own. You do not need to buy anything to be safer tonight than you were this morning. Now, before I let you go, there is one more layer, and it is the one David actually got caught by. The 5 steps make the device itself a dead end, encrypted, locked, wipeable. But they do not answer a harder question. What happens to your accounts if someone gets past the lock screen anyway, before you can wipe it? A shoulder-surfed pin, a phone grabbed off a cafe table while it is still unlocked and still in your hand a second ago. That was David's real loss, not the laptop, the fact that it stayed signed into everything. So there is an account side lockdown, a separate layer that makes your email, your bank, and your logins useless to whoever is holding the device, and make sure you can never be locked out of your own accounts while you are recovering. It is the piece that separates I lost a device from I lost everything. That whole system is written out for paid subscribers on the post. Let me be direct with you about that, because I would rather be direct than clever. The 5 steps you just heard are the whole free guide. I do not hold anything back to make you pay for the basics. Everything I think you need in order to be meaningfully safer is on the free side, every single week, and it always will be. What sits behind the paywall is the next layer down, for people who want to close the last gap instead of most of it. A paid subscription gets you the advanced move at the end of every issue, like the account side lockdown this week, a monthly guided sprint with printable checklists, and a first 60 minutes one-pager for the day. Something actually goes wrong. The one you want already printed, not the one you go hunting for at 11 at night. It is $8 a month or $80 for the year. And I will say the quiet part out loud. That is also what pays for this. There is no sponsor, no advertiser, nobody paying me to recommend a product. It is readers or it is nothing. If this has been worth something to you, subscribing is how it keeps going. And you get the deeper layer every week for it. To read this week's post or to subscribe, go to the Digital Safety Playbook on Substack and look for the issue called His Laptop Was Stolen from His Car. That is the Digital Safety Playbook. New here? Subscribe, and every Monday you will get one practical guide, no jargon, no fear-mongering, just the next thing worth doing. I'm Brent Gifford. And one disclosure, because this publication is about knowing what is real, this narration was made with a licensed clone of my own voice, reading words I wrote myself. Same technology the people on the other side are learning to use, pointed at something honest. Now go set your screen to lock after 1 minute. It takes about 90 seconds, and it is the single setting that would have saved David's 2 weeks.